I'm Nick Priegnitz. Today on Diesel Insights, we're going to talk about towing with your 2011 and newer 6.7-liter Ford PowerStroke. So guys get into the camping thing, they get into towing a boat, whatever you're using your truck to tow with, right? And you might hear your friends start to talk to you, talk about tuning. What is tuning? What's the difference? What changes? Sounds good. I can add 100 horsepower, 200 horsepower. I can really make more out of this truck. How? Is it safe? Why? Tuning can be a lot of different things. What tuning boils down to is a computer controlling how an engine runs and how a transmission runs. It's a calibration that defines how the turbocharger performs, how the fuel injection system performs, what pressure it operates at, how much fuel it delivers, etc., etc., etc. There's what we call module type boxes. These boxes intercept different sensor inputs coming from the engine to the ECM and kind of trick the ECM into giving more fuel and thereby giving more torque output to the engine. These boxes work. You can see small horsepower increments out of them, but what they don't do is allow the engine control module to know how much fuel and how much air is going into it, and it kind of wreaks havoc on the emission system after a long term. They're okay for small output, but not exactly something I want to be using under heavy load for a sustained application like towing. Our niche is the custom tuning market. I landed here because I needed full control over the engine calibration in order to get the power level, the torque output I wanted, and also have the emission system behave and get reliability out of it. So in order for the truck to know what it's doing, in order for the truck to go through regeneration successfully, to get long-term reliability out of it, it has to know how much air and how much fuel it's using. The only way to do that properly is to have access to the full engine calibration. That's custom tuning. So in the custom tuning, what I'm doing is shaping the torque curve of the engine, setting the timing numbers, setting the fueling rates, setting the shape of the torque curve and the transmission shift pattern to optimize what available overhead is left in that calibration. What I mean by available overhead is the power level that your engine shipped with isn't the peak power that it can potentially make. The power level it's shipped with is what the engineer said, okay, this is good, sustained, it can do this indefinitely with the load behind it that we rated it for. There's overhead in it. That means it can make more power, but it can't probably reject that heat long term. It can't run that high horsepower at gross vehicle weight. So if you're running less than gross vehicle weight, or you only need the power intermittently, you can use more of it. I landed at custom ECM tuning because I have really good control over the fuel system and the air handling system. And when I have good control over those systems, I have really good control over the emissions system. And when you're running the truck at heavy load, sustained, you got a trailer behind it, you need control over those systems because the emissions system has to work right to have longevity, to make sure your trip goes well, to make sure the truck performs over the life of your ownership. A lot of guys wonder, what is the extra horsepower good for? I mean, I feel like my truck has good power. Do I really need more? And what I would tell you is once you drive it, you know the difference. And the way it works is this. The factory torque curve is there for a narrow window, and it's there for a certain level. As I get into the available overhead of the system, I can widen that torque curve and I can raise it. And when I do that, I let you stay in one gear longer, and I let you not downshift as easily and lug that load when you need to. So if you got that fifth wheel behind you, got the wind brick behind you, and the truck can't decide if it wants to be in fourth, fifth, or sixth gear, all of a sudden you get to pick the gear and the truck runs sustained, high load, not hunting for gears, not running high RPM and drinking fuel. It does what it's supposed to do, keeps money in your pocketbook, and makes you more confident out on the roadway. If you need to make that pass, if you need to lean on the throttle, pulling that grade, you feel like, I can do this. I can get out here and do it, the truck's going to respond, the truck's going to be there, the power's there that I need. Custom tuning around towing is not having the fastest quarter mile. It's not having the most power. It's about being reliable. It's about being there when you need to be. It's about listening to the truck. So when your truck's at high elevation, when you have an excessively large load behind it, when it's really hot out and the thing's thinking about overheating on you because it's 120 degrees and you got the air conditioning on, all those protection still enabled. You know, we're still looking at all the inputs the truck is giving us and doing everything we can to keep that thing safe. But when it's got more to give, we're going to let it eat. At Calibrated Power, we're about smooth, clean, reliable power. And that's really what towing is all about. If you want to know more or want to try it out, give us a buzz, 815-568-7920. I'm Nick Priegnitz. Thanks for watching.